Serato update 3.3.5, a curious update. Let's get into it. What's up, my fearless friends? My name is Shayshahn, PhearNone MacPherson, and this is Gear and Gadgets, where I like to talk tech, apparel, and gear for DJs, musicians, and artists alike. Today, we get into Serato software update 3.3.5. And a curious update, I'm really questioning things why all of a sudden they're doing this update, but first, let's unpack it. So the download process is like every other Serato download process. They let you know you have an out-of-date firmware, and then you go and download it. And this is a pretty small update, waiting for it to download. And we set it up and agree. Installation was successful. Great. Serato 3.3.5, Serato DJ is out now for Spotify on Mac and Windows. This is what it looks like when you open up Serato again after downloading. And as you can see, there's a slot for Spotify. I currently use Tidal. They make you agree to let Spotify and Serato work with each other and look at each other's crates and all the analytics on yourself, which I reluctantly agreed to. I also feel like it's a misstep not allowing DJs to use more than one service at once, like DJ Pro, but that's Serato. Now the thing with Spotify is like most of the other streaming services in that you can't use stems. You can't put it in the music from Spotify in playlists with your ordinary music, and I found myself right here on Spotify because I have an account and an artist account. You have to have the premium account to do this, and yeah, it's basic. It's like Tidal back in the days or any of the other older services, but I'm going to switch back to Tidal. So as you can see, basically this update is just about adding Spotify to Serato. And my question is, why now? Because Serato users have been asking for Spotify for years, and Spotify has been ducking all DJ software companies and not allowing their catalog to be used with DJ platforms. But now all of a sudden, they want to work with Serato. And I question if Serato really thought about what that could mean for Serato's business and how Serato users and DJs will look at the optics of Spotify joining with Serato. I really don't think at this point it even makes sense for Serato. After Spotify, it was basically acting bougie and not letting people use their service. Now that they're having a lot of negative press and their CEO is coming under fire, all of a sudden, they want to open up their catalog and us musicians' catalog to Serato. I don't know if they think DJs are tone deaf or don't know because they think DJs are not artists. You know, a lot of DJs, when they're first starting out, they pirate music and download music. Like back in the days, they had Napster and all these other programs where you could rip music from YouTube. So maybe they think DJs won't care that artists are just getting paid 0.0003, or it takes 1,000 spins for you to finally get paid as a hardworking artist. I happen to be both a DJ and an artist, violinist, a rapper, and I really don't like the way Spotify has been treating the artists. And now really they're consumers because they give you moods, but it doesn't help the artist. It doesn't enrich an artist. It doesn't bring you into new music. And I feel like as DJs, we should be breaking new music, playing music that nobody else has. I used to love when things were regional. You know, like if you went down to DC, you get go-go from DC. You know, I remember one time when I was in college, I went down to DC and went to a party at Howard University. And I was like, what music is this? I've never heard this before in my life. And I thought I was up on music being from the Northeast. So all I'm basically trying to say is instead of having music fed to you and just, you know, cherry picking and making the music less valuable, really, by giving you trillions of songs and, not really cultivating artists because they don't care. And now on top of that, with their new artist agreement for AI, and the CEO is spending most of what they make to invest into drones that are used in war. And a lot of artists are now leaving Spotify, taking their whole catalogs off of Spotify because the CEO is taking the money that they make from music and putting it to essentially death.
Came out about Spotify and its CEO Daniel Ek investing millions and millions of dollars into deadly military tech. In fact, he seems focused on ingraining himself in this industry more than he does the music industry.
And a lot of people are not happy about that. I know that I like to bring a service and tell fellow DJs, in case you didn't know, if you're not paying attention, when updates happen. But this update really had me conflicted. I did it just to show you how to do it, but I think I'm going to stick with Tidal, even though all streaming platforms could be doing way better, even if they just gave artists a penny for the music. I think I'm going to stick with Tidal. Tidal sounds better. I have my music on Spotify and I'm small, but it's really better for me to sell my music hand to hand, maybe start making physicals again, and going out and just getting 1,000 real fans. But as a DJ, I do like being able to play other people's stuff. I might be spinning in a place and I ask somebody, or I know that my artist friend is here, and I could pull up their music if it's on Spotify. And that's, to me, what makes Spotify good. And Spotify gives you exposure, and I really hate that exposure term because they use it across other disciplines. Like when you're modeling, they make you model for free for exposure. Really, that's all Spotify is good for. And for the consumer, it brings you into new music. I want to see new music. I want to hear new music. I want to learn about new stuff and maybe play that and stop being in this playlist culture where we just play every single thing that's on the radio. I can't front, though. It works. If you play the top 10 that's on Hot 97 out here in New York, you're going to do all right in the club because, when people are driving around in their cars, I don't know if it's brainwashing, but you definitely get to know and get used to the songs that you want to hear. I think us as consumers and DJs need to open our minds up and start being more courageous as DJs and maybe breaking some albums that are not Taylor Swift, or that are not Drake, that are not like these mega stars that they say are making tens of millions from Spotify, but they have a whole machine they have to pay. They have record labels they have to pay. Spotify pays the record labels. That's where most of their money goes. They're not giving the money that we make until we get 1,000 spins, and that accounts for, millions of dollars that they just can take, and then they invest it into these, Halliburton type companies or like these war machines. So I don't know. That's my rant on Serato update 3.3.5. You can update it if you want, but I feel like we're opening a Pandora's box. If we do use Spotify, use it to find new artists. The people who work for Spotify are advertisers. They're not musicians. So they're really great at giving you a feeling. Like if they want to sell Coke, they give you uplifting music with the Coke. You're going to just like those playlists, but might not ever learn what artists, are playing.
2016, they began sharing their mood-based data with leading marketing firms as they proved just how easy it is to influence listeners with emotionally targeted ads. For example, Coca-Cola, promoting their Open Happiness campaign, could utilize Spotify's data to identify users in a bad mood and gradually expose them to more uplifting music. When these users' moods improved, Coke ads would be presented, linking positive feelings with their products.
Or you might not learn these artists or cultivate a new artist. You'll just go with a playlist that's just pulling from trillions of songs. I also want to show you some examples of what some other people are saying. It's not just me. It's all over the internet at how Spotify is ruining independent new music, really music in general. And then with their new AI agreement, it seems like they're trying to get rid of artists altogether. So I don't know if I'm going to be pulling up Spotify because I feel like Tidal sounds better. They pay the artists a little better. Apple Music pays better because Apple Music has more money. They can afford to pay better than Spotify. But I just don't like the dirty tricks and the mills and the farming and all this controversy with Spotify. I was 2 seconds from getting rid of my Premiere account, but I got it because I'm an artist. So I just wanted to deal with my music and get it out to people the best way possible. I want everybody to be able to get my stuff. But I would suggest going to make an email list if you're an artist and cultivate the people, your super fans, and just sell them physicals, and don't put everything you do on Spotify. Maybe put some of the stuff as like a sample. Hey, I'm on Spotify with this, and that. Between these distribution companies like CD Baby and DistroKid, and then Spotify, they're really going in the artist's pocket and making it hard to be an artist. Listen to what Snoop said.
In the streaming world, I can show you right now. They just sent me some from Spotify where I got 1 billion streams, right? My publisher hit me. I said, break that down. How much money is that? That shit wasn't even $45,000.
That's crazy.
But that's my rant. Let me know what you other DJs think. If you think it's cool, you know, we've been wanting Spotify for years, but now that they open it, it's like they can keep it. But that's my opinion. Once again, my name is Shayshahn PhearNone MacPherson. This is Gear and Gadgets. Please don't forget to subscribe. And I really want to see the conversation down in the comments. Peace.